Now we're gonna hit out that wisdom. We're gonna score that wisdom. We're gonna touch down that wisdom. So God, God has places where he tests me at, and the test is very severe. The test is very severe, which oversees and surpasses the trial I would have to go through to get the revelation of the witness of the vision. So now there are rest places where I feel comfortable at. There are places where I feel like there's a specific location in my life where a circulation of tests comes, trials come, error comes. But the test surpasses it, like I said. Now we ain't gonna break up this. I'm just gonna flow in the Holy Ghost, okay? Forget trying to explain everything. You like the city lights? The city lights. I got angels in rows right now. They're bringing refreshments. They're bringing grapes. They're bringing goods. They're bringing the goodness of God. They're bringing the fragrance of Christ. They're bringing the revelation of news. They're bringing new news. They're bringing new discretion. If you believe you have 1,000,000 angels assigned to you, guess what? According to what Jesus say, according to your belief, let it be done. As a man thinketh, so he is. Jesus is telling you, brother, if you start thinking bigger, you're gonna be bigger. He's simply laying down, telling you, and that's just the foundation of what you can have in life and what you can walk in. But you got to understand, in life, not the amount of physical money you have, what you can be. Life is about what you can be. But look, so there are certain places where I feel comfortable at. And so I'm getting a double degree, a double portion, a double relaxation, a double value of resting in that comfortability. Because in other places I'll start feeling pressure. I'll start feeling tightness coming upon. It's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. Okay. So if I'm in my car, I'm at my job, I feel very comfortable. So I'm learning to just appreciate that. See, if God can withdraw his spirit, or he can take you out of your normal feeling amazing, and you can find in the darkness the light of Jesus, you can find things to appreciate when it's like God has stripped you from everything, and you can still find if God takes you and he tests you and puts you in this wilderness, and there's only one rock in the wilderness where you're going to find the value, the virtue, the power, the revelation, and he does this on purpose to test your consciousness, the wilderness of your mind, and you can learn to find these little rocks, or that one small rock in the wilderness, brother, you're going to walk in such a concentration. I'm holding my phone right now. I need to get comfortable, because when I'm not comfortable, I don't think the Holy Ghost inside of me is very comfortable. So I hope you can see me. The light looks good. The light looks good. The light looks good. Listen, I've got a lot to uncover. Not even a lot to go over, a lot to uncover. Because as I go over what God overviewed me in, I uncover its potential. As I uncover its I feel like I'm talking to a big old mic right now. As I uncover its potential, well, we'll see what happens then. It's about the spirit of let's see what happens then. So you got to learn to live moment by moment and just seeing what God's going to do. What is God going to say next out of my tongue? What is God going to do next in my life? What is going to be the next degree of the spirit? What's going to be the next spark of Christ? What's going to be the next movement of God? And if my mind, it's like everything was leading up to that, right? Now I turn the AC off. Let me get my little do-rag to wipe my face. We saving air conditioning. But look, we gonna drive in God. We gonna speak in a direct force unto the things of God. And when I speak like that, I enter in like that. When I enter in like that, I become like that. Now, when I can express from that, well, that's good. The more crazier you become for Jesus, the more you're going to place not an expectation, the more you're going to place an impression upon the throne of God. In that impression, he's going to move and demand and command blessing. Because when you learn to react in an open exposure to an outward expandedness of your worship to God. See, when you get so filled with God to the point where you're in public and you can't, and you lifting your hands, you worshiping God, you on your knees in the front of the city, you in the mall and you just lifting your hands up and you just walking around the corner store. You in the corner store. No, you at the food market, you picking up grapes, you just telling everybody about Jesus. That is an expression that will unlock a revolt in the kingdom. Angels will start going crazy. Heaven will start just jumping up and down. The cherubims and the seraphims will start screaming. Because your reaction is moving God constantly. And I ain't talking about Constantine. I said your reaction is going to move God constantly. Constantly is a continuation. When you're constantly worshiping, you will continually get a continuation of the dose of the benefit of worship. If you're constantly whining, if you're constantly wondering, you're going to get the results of that continuously. So what do? You got to constantly be thankful. And then you'll continuously get the reward of thanksgiving. Do you know what I'm talking about? Huh? Excuse me? What'd you say? A new excitement just unlocked in my spirit. Okay? Now, there are many turning points, many horizons that are occurring right now as we speak. Now, if I didn't come here to decode information, well then, if I looked deep into the stratosphere of heaven and I digest the meaning of every verb of Scripture and I regulate every government that God has given into my hand and the jurisdiction under my feet, and I work out in that, I do push-ups in that, I do sit-ups in that. You know, I feel like the memory can take you to a location, right? If you remember your childhood, well, in the spirit of your mind, you can access any location. Now, the location, you can go back and check the vicinity. See, that's the power of memory. You can see on the left side what you couldn't have saw outside the memory. So you're like, wait a minute. In that memory, there was an angel there. God was there. This was taking place. Now you see the history of that hand, because the memory can decode time, history, event. The memory has the power to decode all information. Do you know the power of your memory? Do you even use the tool of your memory? Do you even acquire an access of your memory? You know, one of God's voices is in your memory. One of the secrets to your DNA, you want to talk about spiritual transformation, spirituality, accelerating, growing in the spirit, is your memory. Because the memory is attuned to all DNA. So this is deep. I don't know if you want to go this deep, but let's just swim in the baby pool real quick of this kind of depths. The eyes of all your DNA can scan and see through the memory of the conscience. Okay? Now, when you learn to allow all the eyes of the DNA to look through memory, you have to know this first to activate its power. You got to know this first to activate. You not think it, not just hear what I'm saying. You have to know. Knowing is through experience. You don't know something because the preacher told it to you. You know it because you firsthand experienced it. That's the secret of knowing. That's the difference between speakers and knowers, listeners and knowing. Now you got to hear but that's the difference. Okay. There's a difference. Okay. Right. So there's that. Now there is an elixir in your spirit. And this elixir is like a time clock where the sand pours out. You know them time clocks which are in the shape of an infinite diamond shaped. Okay, there's a reason why the time is shaped like that. You know them time machine, them time things where the sand is pouring out. There's a reason why they're shaped like infinite, like a diamond that's in the infinite. There's a reason why. Because when you understand, okay, you see the physical manifestation of anything. But if you know the substance and the essence of a thing, well, you will enter into this zone of the spirit world, the spirit realm. Just by knowing this information, just by knowing this, you'll be able to see in different time zones, and you'll be able to see futuristic. Pat, do you know the power of knowing and visionary, prophetic, prophecy, knowing and vision combined in the Holy Ghost? And you don't just see it as a ministry, you see it as a tool to acquire greater heights. See, a lot of times we see a thing as a mansion, and it's that way at first, but when you grow outside the mansion, it becomes a tool to acquiring multiple mansions of that prophetic power, of that apostolic power, of that evangelizing. So stop seeing everything as a height. And when you grow, see it as a key, as a tool. You're supposed to, how do I say this? You're supposed to take the mansion and minimize it because God is greater. And as you grow in God, you become greater and see it as a tool. Now you no longer live in this 15-story house. It's a tool to a 700-story house. This is the secret to expansion. It's minimization. See, the secret in the spirit realm for you to really grow, it's by minimizing. Stop seeing everything as a pinnacle. You must see all pinnacles and minimize them to a seed. Then you will surpass the multiplication realm of harvest. Okay. Now, we about to get Holy Ghost mathematical up in this thing. Now I'm starting to sweat. I turned the car off. I wanted to save some AC. So may every drop of sweat worship Jesus Christ. Ah, Jesus, I need help, brother. Woo. I need help. Like, bro, nobody can help me but God. The doctors can't help me. My mama can't help. Oh, Jesus. Have you ever been so stirred? See, before you get stirred by God, you got to get filled with God. Now, there's this fountain in this river. And the Lord was like, look, man. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I love God. I can't wait to see God face to face. I'm like David. I just want to behold your beauty all the days of my life and live in your sanctuary and worship you. That's it. I don't even want what them other people want. I don't even care how big my mansion in heaven is. I just want to look at your face and worship you. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the realm of desiring God. Excuse me. I release angels of healing right now to come upon us because we all need healing. What's about? Now, let's go. Let's go. Either way. Hold on. So, it's amazing because if I can just self-reflect right now, like, I don't even remember what it was like to be broke. I never knew brokenness. Like I'm starting to awaken to my divine nature of who I am. And that any kind of, oh, I went through this, blah, 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 is really in the reality of who I come from and what I am is all an illusion. In the flesh, I suffered. But I've always been in divinity. I come from the everlasting. This is starting to become more of a reality to me. This reality is becoming so much more realer than the lower levels of this earth. The lower levels of life, the spirit world, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. So this reality is keeping me at the point of seeing my true nature of existence as the creator and creation. And what it's doing, it's making my life more simple. It's making my life more pure. The fight and the war and the battle over the mind, it's easily shaking these creatures, the hands of these creatures off me, just by resting. And every thought of the dialect, see, there are certain it might take you 15, you can't really explain the secrets of the mind. You can't really explain the secrets of how fuel fuels your tank. Okay, well, fuel, it has this chemical which fuels the engine. But if you really think about it deeper, you can't really explain the secret of how fuel fuels your vehicle. You think you can. You can come up, well, fuel does this to the engine, which does, no. That's just the process outside of the secret of the fuel. We know it goes into the tank, blah, blah, blah. But the secret of the fuel, how it empowers and fuels your engine. So our mind is like that, but our mind is like that. So you don't really know the secret until you sit upon it and listen to it. I believe the Spirit of God strongly desires just to be listened to. I believe the Holy Spirit just is looking for somebody that will listen to her. For when you can learn just to listen, just listen, just listen and stay listening. And I believe pondering is the secret to divine listening. You think it's listening. No. Pondering. Oh my goodness. There's this secret that God showed me while I was resting in my bed. You know, you have this pine cone in your mind, this pineal gland, this 24 elders rulership strand. And it's only a strand of the infinite God inside of you. Now we about to go somewhere real big right now. We about to go somewhere big. Trust me. Yes, Lord. So the Lord told the Lord told me instead of seeing through this gland, the secret is listening through it. And this goes back to the book of Thomas. And I've uncoded through the Holy Spirit. I've uncoded a partial meaning to this revelation. See, you have revelation, but when you can decode the meaning, not just talk about the revelation God give you, but decode the meaning of it. Oh, you will find God directly where it's, the Bible tells you where the throne of God, the Bible tells you the location of exactly where the throne of Yahweh is, where where Yahweh is seated. It talks about Zion. It tells you the sides of the north. It tells you Mount Zion. It tells you where I have desired to do it. He tells you the secrets of the location of where his throne sit. But his omnipresence, see, that's the central location. Okay, now that's deep right there. I don't know if we start talking about that, we might go to heaven. We might not be permitted to be. See, there is certain knowledge you tap into. There is certain wisdom you tap into where you're no longer permitted to be able to struggle anymore. In that level, demons are no longer permitted to touch you in that place anymore. There's these, I'm learning these divine permission slips. And as you grow in the Spirit of God, you're no longer permitted to be broke or to be at an average. You're no longer permitted to be at a minimum wage job. No, you no longer can be this, you know what I'm saying? I've learned that. There's so many things I don't even struggle with no more. I don't even fight against. Like the devil, them demons, they can't even touch me there anymore. They can't even, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know the full spectrum of what I'm talking about. I'm giving you the glimpses of what I do know. I don't act like I know the full, but I give you glimpses of what I do know. I release deliverance and the fire of heaven to that vehicle and that person and them spirits and where they're going in the name of Jesus. Oh, I feel it, boy. You don't want me to start praying. When I'm telling you, when I pray, fire comes down. All right. Okay? Now the Lord told me to work on your channel this week. So I'm putting the best pictures I can put on my videos. I'm filling the titles as much as I can because he told me I'm going to bring you increase. We're going to start investing a greater measure into this channel. And I'm going to use that. Okay? I'm going to use that. I'm excited about that. The steps of obedience acquires the accumulation of his knowledge in one setting. Then we go see settings unlock horizons. So the more I fill in the steps of obedience, I acquire a new horizon and a greater sunshine, a greater brightness. It's like I'm going higher into the sun, or I'm getting closer to the Son of God. Okay? I'm excited about that. This is wisdom the Holy Spirit shows you, and it's exciting because you always have something to do. You always have a quest to go on. You always have missions to complete. You're never stagnant. You're always driven. I learned that stagnation and idleness invokes temptation. But when your spirit is stayed driven, it floods temptation away. It floods temptation out of your life. It doesn't even come in. Now there's this roach demon. I don't know if you ever seen Men in Black. It's kind of like that though. But I released the fire of God over this demon. Now its little baby inhabitants, I release the wrath of God over it. I consume every bit of its fear, provoking mechanisms, all its little creatures, its inhabitants. I root them out and I burn them by the fire of the Holy Ghost. In Jesus' name, I'll burn them out. Here we go. Ooh, I just felt something break on that one. Okay. I'm coming back. Coming back. I want to tell you something that's super, super powerful and super, super exciting. So the Lord, digitalization to spiritualization. There is this certain spiritual paradigm that I've been utilizing, scoping, spending time, relationship in, intimacy in, where I've been getting all these ahs, these downloads, but the Lord told me you have outgrown that. So this paradigm is shifting to the left, and the bell of his resonance is going to ring in the nature of observation. So now when I sit and I observe nature, a reflection of Yahweh, the surrounding of his throne, the circumference of his power, the echo of his being emits to me. It's a resonance which emits to me. So I'm getting more degrees of revelation, impartation, and I'm seeing the significance of God and just finding a spirit of strength and an expansion of awareness I've never, just in the nature. More than me spending 15 hours watching videos, a 5-minute observation will get me into a greater dimension of his spiritual power and promise and resonance. Okay, and when I'm gonna begin to regulate in this resonance by spending time there more. Because God has taken me away from so much technology. You know what I'm saying? And digitalization is turning into spiritualization. All the digital data and information that I've collected, it's turning into spiritualization. So I have these 2 massive eyes of observation that are on swole. I'm talking about steroids. I'm talking about steroids of just, and I see like this brain with these eyes and just equaling in, absorbing, which is equaling in just the light of Christ. God. Oops. I think I just opened up my gas tank on accident. It's okay. Right, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, I am excited about that. Now a massive high reward has come upon me. The things that I see as darkness will now turn into my laughter and light. The Lord showed me that. Because I have been through heavy, and I've been seeing so many things as dark. I'm like, I don't know what this means. But the reward of God showed me from now on. And I'm seeing that the things I see as darkness, they're turning into laughter and light. And butterflies are coming out. Not roaches, but butterflies are coming out of it. Whew. Telling you, a brother done been through some things, and serving God ain't no joke, bro. Now, everybody that comes into my vicinity, I will acquire the possession of their spirit. And I will lift them up to the throne of God, because they've entered into such an absorption rate. The more you serve Jesus and the more you unlock his ability and power, oh my goodness. You can transform anybody's life. You can take over any part of the world you want to take over. You don't even need a plane. You don't need a jet. You don't need $50,000 to build a church. You have the habitation of Yahweh inside of you. You have all the spiritual material that will ever be produced to build 700 million mansions. Okay, you have this kind of material in your spirit. Now, the root of the structure, see, there is engineering of significance. Now, if the seed turns into a engineering powerhouse, then just imagine the harvest you're going to get. Let's say if you were to take one seed and combine it with another seed, your harvest is going to turn into this elixir of diamonds, roses, grace, fragrance. And they're like, what is this? This isn't normal. Yeah, brother, it's supernatural normal. It's super normal. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, okay. Now, when God isolates you to a point where you no longer care about you don't even know what it's like to worry about another human's opinion. The only thing you know how to do is speak God, and you can't even, your mind doesn't even think what anybody else is worrying about. Like, you're going to be able to be used by God in such a way that you might not be on earth for very long. You know, when people tell you you lost your mind, you're like, you got to learn how to agree with people's disagreement, and then you will dominate them. And when you do that, you will bring them into subjection. and they will yield to the Spirit of God that lives inside of you. And they'll come to Jesus. That's all. See, when you really are burned by the Spirit of God, the only thing you try to do is bring people to Christ. You don't care if somebody spits on you. You don't care if somebody tries to crucify you with the words. You ain't, man, that don't even faze you. Whatever you can do to bring them to Christ, that's all that matters. And when that's all that matters, bro, nobody's gonna be able to offend you, upset you, irritate you, because everything is translating into the butterfly. And man, I didn't know you could go this deep in God. I feel like I'm in such a depths that I can hear the echo of God. Before I was in the depths and I could feel the power of God. But now even deeper, I can just hear the echo of God. And it's like, man, it's like swirling my mind. And I'm like, oh God, I feel like my flesh is melting and I'm just turning into the spiritual substance of production of the voice of the archangels, of the sound of the heavenly, just the array and splendor of Christ. And that's all I'm seeing and knowing and being. You know, your flesh can literally come apart and you can start like just really feel what it feels like to be a spiritual soul, just of God. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I feel like I'm floating away into another place. And it's actually kind of scary because I feel like my spirit is just like departing to a new, like I'm going to a new place, like angels are carrying me to a new place in the spirit realm. And it's so far beyond this earth, it's like, oh gosh. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. My human body. Alright, I just wanna talk for about 10 minutes the things I used to like. Let me get close. I want you to see a brother's face when I'm talking. The things that I used to like and want are completely diminished. My faith is at a higher and deeper dimension with God. All the things that are no longer serving me, I see them just breaking away. Whether they're thoughts, processes, mindsets, just breaking away. And things that even when I don't feel this, feel that, that doesn't even matter anymore. The things, the meaning and the purpose of just serving God in my faith, that's becoming the glam, the pineal, the pinnacle, the rise, the mountaintop, the Zion of my career in Christ. And everything is circulating from that place of faith, starting from that place, starting from that solid ground where Jesus walks and triumphs. Okay? Just want to talk about for 10 minutes. Because I'm watching these videos now and I'm getting the viewership in, the break time. I'm learning how to take breaks and ponder. I'm learning how to stay just not in technology, but just staying in my spirit, the technology of my spirit, and regulating and feeling the anointing there. And I'm starting to uncover, and just all these things are taking place in what's happening. And it's no longer a matter of trying to figure out God. It's in the happening. It's in the happening I'm exhilarated. It's in the happening where the will of God is being executed. It's in the happening where faith is being provided and distributed, and things and championships are being created in the spirit, right? And I'm happy, man. And I'm not even trying to be happy. I'm not even trying, like, the faith is just so marvelous. This faith I just feel this faith that God has given to me. The measure, He's given everyone a measure of faith. But this new measure is just, it's uncontrollable. It's just violently perfect. It's just stupendously miraculous. It's just heavily acquainted with love and adoration and glory and manifestation of the miraculous and the zones and realms of divinity and the power and palace of God. And it's good. It's good. And all these things I'm seeing, they're turning into a dance. They're dancing before me. They're showing me the celebration of what's happening. And I'm in tune with them and dance with them as well and co-labor together. The strength of this pond in my mind is, the veins of it are being strengthened. And in the strength, I'm seeing the strategy of God being performed before we're even discussing what the strategy was. So I'm seeing the performance of strategy. And it's like a download. It's like an acquirement of the requirement of the expectation being fulfilled, and it's meeting other demands and other criteria of the Spirit. And it's all connecting in my mind. And like the brain of God, I'm just seeing like the pulses of it, and I'm able to speak from this and what I'm seeing. And you go deep in spending time with a person, wherever you are, because you know that your spiritual information is integrating within theirs. And the light is always dominant against the darkness of that being. So you keep staying in the flip and the switches of that light, and you speak the things that reference that light. And it shines on them. And it shines on their character, on their behavior, on their attitude and everything. And you know what? I don't even know what I'm going to do tonight. And it doesn't even matter. I'm not even... My thoughts are no more outside of a futuristic event. They're in the now place and the now realm of the present moment. And the future is being built from that. The next level is being... matter of fact, I'm getting to a point where I can't even move forward. I just stay in God. And moving forward isn't me moving to the next physical location to do the next physical thing, which I consider spiritual. It's God himself and all that he is and nothing else. And I believe we're really getting to a point that we've been working hard for. We've been working hard like climbing a mountain. It took you 5 years to get here. But you're finally there. And it was well worth it. It was well worth it. It was well worth it. Open this car door up. We gonna get some wind up in here. Because I know. He says, I know that my Redeemer lives. You know that the redemption of your soul and humanity is alive somewhere, someplace. You know that there is something up and above. You know there is a regulation to all these human emotions. You know there is an end to all this chaos on earth, an end to your problems. You know there is a destination and a face-to-face with the ending of this life and the transition to the new one. You know that. You know that. So with this knowing and the time that is available to you, what are you going to spend your time doing? Worrying about? Are you going to spend your time worrying about anything? Or are you going to be in the movement of action? Provoking the truth. Demanding the truth to reveal itself to you. And speaking. And staying in that level of life regardless of anything you feel. Are you going to choose that? Are you going to choose to live in a realm of high expectation and high quality? Or are you going to settle for less than what everybody else is cleaving to? processed food, processed information, downgraded, watered down gospel. No. Are you going to stand in the congregation and stand up and say, this is not tolerable? I'm talking about. Now. Yes, sir. And you exit out of the normal. You exit out of the same regular expectation. You exit out of the movie theater of previousness. You exit out of the gap of the timeline of what you're used to. And you go into places and atmospheres and levels that nobody's in. And you keep exiting out of the normal. You keep exiting out of where everybody else is settled at. And you keep going into new thoughts, new places, new ways, new systems, new discoveries. And you keep talking about it and expressing it. And you're just going to keep going into new stratospheres of God. And you're going to unlock so much new stuff, new material, new history, new revelation, new blessings. And it's going to be so fresh. You're going to view it and be amazed and be like, wow, look at what God is doing in me. Look at the stuff we're tapping into. Look at the access we have. And that's going to be your full-time job, where you work overtime. And where there's where you have angels working for you, not just human beings. You have angels working for you while you're asleep. And they're expanding this business of knowledge, of wisdom, of revelation, of impartation. Now you got hundreds of them, thousands of them. Now there's a category and there's a catalog in the spirit, and just they're reading all about it and all this information you're speaking, and it's turning into just eternal spiritual money, and just it's purchasing things all over the place. This wisdom is purchasing lodges and vicinities and new ground and hotels for people that are hurting and dying to rest in and receive Christ and be revived in. And we're building. And sometimes you want the atmosphere to be so intense. Like you want it to be 150 degrees in your car. And not all the time, but like you want to learn to preach in an intense environment. Not just where there's AC and everything's relaxing, but you want to learn to, you know what I'm saying? You want to be stretched to the next level, the next degree of fire and temperature and power. You want to sit in a place and observe and then step out of it into the unknown and acquire that divine chemical and translate it on 752 levels and expect from higher levels of regulation and come down and go up and go to the left and right and expand in breadth, height, width, and depth constantly. And you want every level of life just to open to you and just for you to look through it at one time. And you want everything to be dissected into production and to be entered into one mentality, one mind, not into separation. But when everything can be oneness and oneness and oneness and oneness, and you can unite in unity together, when you have many things you've united, and you can unite that into unitement, and you can unite all those countries and cities and categories into union, well, now you're coming into the union, which is the sacred council of the Heavenly One. Right? So when you pick at your mind, and you open up everything, and when you become excited about the darkness that has come to try you, and you learn how to surround yourself with light, not worry, not fear, not anxiety, which are all at a higher level of expectation. If you start playing the fool, it's going to be very dangerous for you. So, in higher expectations of God, you don't become afraid. You just learn the principle of perseverance. If you can always down your mind to persevering in anything, you'll be good. Because it's about going through. You don't avoid nothing. The people in life that are always avoiding, they're not going to get very far. Because it's not a matter of avoiding, even going to the left or right. It's about a straight shot and going through every net, every Goliath, every darkness, you go through. Life is about going through. And the ones that go through a thing will be thorough. The ones that avoid everything will be very irritable, neglectant, hesitant, fearful. We progress on multiple levels. You want every layer of that level to be known to you. You don't just want another level without first seeing every layer of that first level. If you keep going in levels but never see their layers, you will not get the details of God. And you will not walk in a certain eloquence, the Holy Ghost, which are secret and secret expansions where you're going to get insane degrees of wisdom and specific levels of impartation and greater instructions directly from the hand of God that other people won't see, that just go from level to level to level to level. They keep climbing up the ladder and climbing up, but they're never sitting in their office. They don't climb up the ladder and sit in that mansion, sit in that office, work out in that gym, eat that good food. They just keep going up the ladders and they keep walking, but they never stop and experience the layers. And that's when you just want to rise without settling in wisdom. You know, it's amazing. I feel like I have an entire entourage around me. I can't be lonely. I feel like I have so many heavenly beings that are with me. And when I can speak like I'm speaking to my friend, they'll talk right back to me. But you know what's amazing? As we speak about these things, as we even speak in general, our speech is literally uttering the things of God. And it is taking over like an ocean. It's just taking over every street we go down, every path we walk. It's just taking over. And we're in this ocean, and we're just floating. And we're just taking over everything. When you can invoke hidden emotions in other people by the knowing of how you act and what it's going to cause and produce, you've gone somewhere very deep in God. If you can acquire more and less effort than others, you've hit a potential and a secret in God everybody don't hit. When life's not about earning everything, but receiving gifts, you'll earn 70 million times more with less effort. Most of us, we don't know how to receive. And when we learn, we only know how to partially receive in a timeline. But we don't know how to take every gift of life, every second of every moment, and receive from it. There is a secret to the resting in God, where you will receive so much information, so much wisdom, that it won't make any sense. Sleeping is programming. If you learned how to secretly tap into the programming of God while you were asleep, what he was doing while you were asleep, if you could tap into that, which you can, you would begin to walk in so much revelation and experiential knowledge, it wouldn't make any sense to human sense. And this is the secret to becoming foolish, to becoming wise. If you're wise in everybody else's eyes, you're not walking in the sacred protocol. And of course, you don't control everybody, but when you begin to speak things and it's crazy to people, they think something's wrong with you, my friend, you're walking in the sacred garment, and you're becoming wise. And one of the keys to this is not trying to be seen by anybody. Not trying to... We human beings, we try to be seen by others and prove ourselves to other people. When that is 100% cut off, you will start becoming very, very wise very quickly. You're becoming dreadful to the demonic kingdom. Now it just got more silence and my voice became more quieted. That's when the Spirit of God and the voice of God really comes upon you. And I need a second phone to extend this overflow. You can see the secret power that is at work. You can see the hidden intention of the potential of whether this spirit is producing godly results or it's cutting or hindering a certain pathway. And you can learn to regulate it through the eye focus of the Spirit of God. And you know the demands and the accuracy. And you know how to pinpoint the root cause of the issue that is preventing the Spirit of God from flowing. And then you can just send a thunder. You can just strike it with your spirit. You hit the bullseye, which broke out all the other circulation of evil. If you hit the bullseye, you'll take out the head target, and all the other targets will fall that are under it. If you hit the ruler demon in the head, all the undergoing devils will fall under its rulership. Okay, that's the key. Instead of fighting 100 baby demons, you hit the head. But you have to be at a certain rank to deal with certain ranking spirits. I feel like I have a dealership of wisdom. There's a lot with thousands of cars, where we got a lot, and we can pick any drive, department, category of wisdom and begin to accelerate in it. And I'm telling you right now in your life, I'm listening to the world. You're not going to be disappointed. Let me tell you something. I want to get close when I tell you this. And we're talking about a bunch of divine stuff, but I want to talk to you on a level where you're going to understand me. Because honestly, I don't care if human beings agree with me or not. I'm all about God. I'm all about His Rhema. I'm all about His secret depths. I'm all about His righteousness. So I'm not finna live on no surface level with Christ. I'm done with that. I've been done with that. I don't even want to talk about it no more. I don't even want to talk about I'm done with it, because I've been done with it a long time ago. But look, in your life, you're going to be so thankful. While everybody else was partying, you were working hard. You were choosing to have faith in God. You may not have got all the wisdom. You may not have done all these wonderful things. That doesn't matter. You're going to be so grateful in your life that while everybody else was playing the fool, living in sin, like in the days of Noah, you chose to be close to God. You chose to pray. And people, you could have smoked weed. You could have been doing drugs. But you chose, you know what? I don't want that. I want to. And even though it was hard, there was temptation. It seemed like everybody else was living the good life. You chose. I'm telling you right now, from heaven on high, you're not going to be disappointed. Other people having fun, but if they keep living that life, they're going to be in eternal shame. Now, I'm telling you, Jesus is at my front door looking at me. I'm telling you. In the most simplest, When you can see the greatest level of Christ in the most simplest version, because he'll present himself in simple forms. God's not trying to prove nothing to you. He's not trying to come at you. Look how he's God. He doesn't have to prove himself to nobody. He'll come to you in the most simplest form. But if you can't learn to see the divinity of God in the flesh of Christ, and you don't learn how to see that way, you're not going to see the heights and the simplicity in how he reveals himself. Because God will reveal himself to you in the form of a dove, in a grasshopper, in a blade of grass, at your front door. But if you don't learn how to see like that, you won't detect like that. If you can't detect like that, you won't observe when the Spirit moves like that. Okay? You have to understand, and Nikola Tesla understood this. It's called the threefold process of life. He said, if you understand 3, 6, 9, well, it's not so much, it's the threefold process of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit that regulate from creation, from the throne of existence, of God, of the Father, of the Son. When you understand the threefold pattern of life, the three personalities of heaven, and how they implement into every regulation and echo in every avenue of life, and you start to decode and decipher things, oh God, it's going to be game over for you. This silence that we're in is powerful. It's God, 100%. Remember, God's not in the noise. He's not in the sound of the world. You have to and you have to understand the sound of devotion. See, if you really want to know God's voice and sound in higher levels, you have to learn the sound of devotion, the sound of the Word of God, the sound of silence, the sound of worship, but all in silence. Because when you're in the silence, it takes you into the realm of Him. When you're in the silence of this world and tune out, you enter into His world and tune in. Silence, pure silence, like we're in now, is the tuning out of this world and the tuning in of His world. Ooh. God Almighty. Now, I have 15 days until 15 days of sacrifice. And it's not even really a sacrifice, but I'm what am I saying? I'm downgrading, eliminating all the devotion that I had towards this one thing. Because I've outgrown it, I'm completely letting go of it. So I'm spending as much time now in these 15 days with this spiritual paradigm, but I'm completely realizing that I'm fully letting go of it. And I'm sacrificing it into a greater devotion of spending time in God's Word. I literally feel like I'm 70 years old right now, bro. I feel like I'm 70, 75 years old in my flesh. There's a measure and a weight and a heaviness of presence I feel. But I'm able to swim through it with ease. When you try to figure out God, it devastates your mind. It hurts your conscience. But if you can rise above the mental realm and silence all of its attributes, you will develop a tool, a strategy, a path, a way of just supernaturally supercharging such a divine, just such an atmosphere of presence, of waiting, of being, of seeing, not thinking. And these categories are literally vaults of just tsunami waves of the hidden power of God, of Christ inside of you. And to even spend 30 seconds to a minute seriously realizing this inside of you, it will make you go colorblind. It'll make you lose your banana. It'll make you go cuckoo. Because you will actually not I heard, you'll actually witness within you God Himself within you, and it will strike you. And you'll be so blown away that you won't even be able to, you'll start moaning, you'll start making these strange sounds. But it will be kingdom sounds. Because you can't even physically interpret and even make a meaning of it. You'll just have to express it. You might start mooing like a chicken and quacking like a seagull. You might start meowing like a dog and barking like a cat. I'm telling you, it's that crazy. We're gonna let my being is so empty right now. So empty. And I am going further in this emptiness. Okay? And it's the entrance is coming face to face with who I truly am. Shaking hands with it. Having a meeting with my identity. Having a meeting with the staff and members of my identity. And seeing all the promotions and all the love before my eyes. And moving forward. You get to the point where you can just go to sleep and just speak wisdom and revelation. You can just, you're laying down and you're beyond tired, but you're beyond the feeling of tiredness. And then you enter into like a state of REM sleep, but you're expressing the ideals, the strategies of God. And the less you make an attempt and an effort and try, the more the dissolving of your human effort becomes the flowing of His power. And you start just speaking these things. This silence is so intense. It is disrupting every bit of flesh I have. It is disarming every type of human comfort, of carnality that I ascribe or try to attempt to attach myself to. It burns and roots every ungodly signal trying to be in my spiritual router device. It purges me from every flow of self, identity, ego, pride, and resilience against the things of God. I literally feel out of my body. And nothing can hold me down. The areas where there was heavy pressure become feather-like, and light, color, spectrum, and height density becomes lighter. The weight of the earthly realm that was holding me down begins to dissolve as the delusions are detected, silenced, and killed, which are the Goliaths of the mind beheaded. And the greater royalty of kingship. But that light, when life becomes lighter, you just start to, you become a traveler, you start flying everywhere. You just start floating, and you don't even need a human vehicle. You can just fly and just travel wherever you want to go. Time becomes light, pressure becomes light, worry becomes light, everything becomes light. And every light, it has a degree to it. It has a turn to it, and its path has a divine destiny to it. And you feel so good because in this heavenly realm, there's no evil, there's no greed, there's no pride, there's no hatred, there's no sin. So every turn of this light is the most amazing turn you could. There's no same thing over and over. This light is always refreshing, renewing, growing, alive. All the emotions and abbreviations of the past life, the earthly life, just dissolve in this heavenly light. And you realize your life on earth was about dissolving all the illusions, all the lies, all the programs, you just dissolving it to becoming and rising in who you truly are. Which brings me to this book event that I went to as a little kid, and there was this book, and the smell of the brand new books it's the book fair. The smell of the books brand new was so amazing, and just being in this vicinity was so incredible. And opening up the books, which makes me want to go visit a brand new bookstore. And just go shopping there.